Alright, it's your boy Ryan Thomas here from Fatal Tech, and I hope you guys are having a good day. And today I'm going to be doing an owning in 2016 of the iPad mini 1. Now I've already done a video on the iPad mini 2, so link will be in the description to that one if you want to go and see it. Actually, it's quite useful because I do actually recommend that one over this one. So I recommend the second gen over the first gen, but let's start talking about the first gen iPad mini because it is quite a lot cheaper. Okay, so first thing is the price. Obviously it's £75 you can buy when used in moderately good condition. Now it's an extra £5 to get the Nexus 7 second generation, which I highly recommend over this. In fact, I recommend that and the iPad mini 2 over this just because I don't really like it that much, and I'll kind of give you an idea of where this video is going. First thing is the design. Now this is very similar, almost identical to the iPad mini 2. Now the only really real difference is the colors, so you can actually get this in space grey and white. Actually the iPad mini 1 actually comes in slate grey and silver instead of space grey and silver. Now the difference is with the iPad mini 1 it's almost a charcoal kind of darker finish on it, so it's slate instead of a space grey, which is something that I'm not sure if people like. It's a similar problem between the iPhone 5 and the iPhone 5S. The iPhone 5S came in space grey and the iPhone 5 came in slate grey, and it's slightly darker. I definitely prefer the space grey, but it's kind of a preference kind of thing. But yeah, you can't get the iPad mini 1 in space grey, you can only get it in slate grey, and there is a huge difference, guys. Secondly, the Apple logo on the back isn't aluminium. It's kind of like it's kind of black and it's not really reflective like the iPad mini 2 was. Anyway, let's get to performance. So this thing is pretty slow. It's got 512 megabytes of RAM as using the old Apple really outdated A5 chip. I mean, yes, you can still do web browsing and use it for Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, anything like that, Twitter, anything that you want to do on that, that's absolutely fine. Even playing games, it's fairly decent, but wouldn't recommend this for like lots of use and lots of multitasking just because it does have so many hang-ups and so many crashes. Now this is just because it's an old piece of hardware. It doesn't mean to say it's not reliable, it's just pretty old. Next to the battery life, obviously the screen, I'll tell about the screen that will lead into the battery life. So the screen is a 1024 by 768, or rather 768 by 1024 screen because it is portrait, and it's not Retina. You can definitely tell, and I really don't like the screen on this. It's just not good. The colors aren't the best, and obviously not being a Retina screen, it's you can see the pixels really easily, and it's not the best, not the sharpest screen. So I wouldn't recommend it if you really want a screen like that. It does mean the battery life is pretty good. So moving into the battery life, the standby time on this thing is absolutely ridiculous. You could leave this for a good couple of months, come back to it, and it'll probably still be working. Like, it's absolutely crazy, the standby time on Apple products, and especially with this, the standby time on this is absolutely great, and as well as the actual usage time, so you can actually get quite a fair amount of usage out of this even if you buy one used. Next is of course the cameras. Now you're not really going to really be using tablet cameras. You might, but it's very limited kind of way that you can use them. And the rear facing camera is a 5 megapixel camera capable of 1080p 30 fps video. The front is a 1.2 megapixel camera capable of 720p 30 fps video. Not good, you know, enough for Skype calls, enough for conference calls, something like that, but you're not going to be making YouTube videos off this thing. In fact, the cameras are pretty bad. I mean, in low light, not very good. Maybe outside, if you're out or you are taking this on holiday and taking some pictures, not too bad, but you know, you're not a professional videographer or photographer with this thing. Next is the speaker. So the speaker's pretty good. Obviously it's bottom firing, it's not front firing, which is annoying, but actually it's a pretty good speaker, and Apple have had their reputation of making decent speakers in portable devices despite how thin and light they are. And that's the thing with this design. It is so thin and so light that it actually feels really, you know, sturdy in the hand as well. It doesn't feel like it's going to break. Absolutely incredible. I absolutely love the design of this. The only thing wrong with it really is the screen and the performance. The rest of it is absolutely great. Now you can get this in 16, 32 and 64 gigabyte models, which is great. I've personally got the 16 gigabyte, or rather my brother does, and actually let me use this to kind of get a good review and get a good owning in 2016 video out of it. But what's this for? Well, actually the reason Paddy's got it, he's got an iPad mini 2, but he has the iPad mini 1 for school. The school actually gave them to him, or sold them to him for a little bit of money, kind of like a renting kind of style thing. And that's what the schools are using them for. They're taking them back now because they didn't think it was a very good idea because so many people were breaking them. And that's the thing, they're not very rugged devices considering you're giving them to a load of teenagers. They are used for schoolwork. They are not designed for schoolwork. They're multimedia devices, and as such, you know, they're used for multimedia, but they're getting to the stage now where everything's just so outdated. Yes, they're running the latest operating system, and yes, they're supported by the latest apps, but are they really? They're just not fast enough. They're just not fast and not good enough to really use. I would never really use those. In fact, I would recommend spending that extra £5 and getting the 2nd gen Nexus 7 because it is such a good tablet. If you really want an iPad, I would recommend going over to the iPad mini 2 because that is just the greatest iPad for the money you can get. And a little bit of trivia for you guys, the iPad mini 1, this one we're talking about right now, was one of the very first iPads to actually get the lightning connector, which is a really cool connector and is obviously now being used more and more. But yeah, just a little bit of trivia there. One of the first devices to use it. So thanks for watching, guys. Just looking through, I'm pretty sure I haven't missed anything out. Battery's pretty insane, performance not very good, screen's not very good, design's pretty good, cameras are mediocre. I think that's about everything, guys. So thanks for watching this video. Again, not sure about audio, visual quality, need to sort that out, but hopefully everything's been good. Hopefully you guys are having a good time, and hopefully this weather stays like this because it's great weather. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.